Hello, guys. Yeah, so welcome back to another class here in video editing under Premiere Pro and Premiere Rush. Yeah, so today we're going to be continuing from where we stopped last time, talking about the audio mixer. That's what we're going to talk about today, and we'll just continue along the line basically. So let's go and import the audio that we are going to be working with. So I'll come here, double click right there, and let's just go and find an audio or a video, whichever one that we could use. I think I have some here. Okay, right here, and say okay. All right, and double click to get to my source monitor and drag in just my audio over here. All right, drag and drop. We've done this a couple of times, and I expect that by now we'll be masters of it. Okay, so once we have our audio on our track over here, we just then have to expand it a bit so we can see our waves. Not that it is necessary, but yeah, just for the fun of it. Like since we're working with just one track here, let me go ahead and play it, and then let's just make sure that we have something there. Okay, all right. So what we talked about is for us to get to our audio mixer, we ought to go to our audio workspace, and our audio workspace is just over here, right here, audio. Okay, to take us to our audio mixer. Oh, it's taking us so much space. Let's just hold here and drag, yeah, down here, and hold and drag this over here, and maybe create a little space for the screen. We don't really need the screen, but just a little space for it. Okay, cool. All right. So since we're working with just audio one here, I'll call that here. I'll come over here and name that main track. Yeah, that works for me. Yeah, and I believe we know what that means. This is our A1. That's our A1 here also. And the tracks that we have here at the bottom, A1, A3, are the ones that are represented here. And we know that by now. And if I play it, okay, so we find it there as well. So we'll find the tracking here, that's the audio waves or volume there too. So if I play here, and also we can tell that it is really loud because of this red color that shows up here at the top. So we try to avoid that, right? So I'll go ahead and all right, cool. Okay, cool. So all right, now it's better now. It doesn't really get to the top anymore. So we can work with that basically. Yeah. So what I want to talk about today is how we can actually automate our mode. That's the audio mode, I mean. There are a couple of ways that we could do that. Okay. So yeah. So from over here, as we mentioned, we have our read, latch, touch, and write, and we basically know what those things do by now. We basically know what those things do and how I can get all those out. For instance, if I get my write out and I play it, I can Okay, so these are actually the audio levels that was created my right from my right automation, and right low. See how high and low and so on and so forth. So that's basically what we have from over here and stuffs like that. All the things we have from our touch, our latch, our write, and read and off. Those are what we have there. And I hope from the last class you guys got what all those things can do and what we can achieve, what we can actually achieve with those operations, so to say. But then again, if for instance I want to like add an effect or on a if I want to like add an effect on an audio, I can also do that in a couple of ways through our mixer. And for some of us, our screens may not be able to contain all um the operations that we have. So the system kind of like hides it. But if I click over here, I click just here, you find that this shows up just in case you do not have this. Yeah, just there's a drop down arrow here that you can click on to get all your operations out. That's yeah, you can get this whole thing out. Now this can extend down. Okay, so I'll go ahead now and click on uh I was going to say click on the system, but no, that's not what I'm going to do. Yeah, so over here you see a left to right option. That's the L and R indicates left to right. I'll drag this down here so we can see how that is being affected. So clearly, this is me adding or reducing the left side of the audio, and then this is me adding or increasing the right side of our audio. So I'll do that now right here. Sorry, just up and down. Just hold and scroll either up and down. That actually reduces or gains. So come down here, it is like 100% thereabouts, and now play that. Okay, so what you notice here is that while the audio was playing, just the right side of the sound, just the right side of the track was being captured. The left side of it remained down. So if I play, we can only get the left side, the right side, sorry, of the audio. We could only get the right side of the audio. And that's because we have actually gained more to the right side. So for those of us, if you need to like, I don't know, put more or add more to the right side or to the left side, that's how it's actually going to be done. So if I move this down to the left this time and play, right, this is less than 100%. So let me just make it 100%. Okay, so from here you know that the audio is now reflecting at the left side rather than the right side of the audio. That's what we have there, and you can adjust it to whatever range you want it to go. You can adjust it like to gain more on the left, or to gain more on the right. You can actually do that across. Okay, so okay guys, so right after I think we've talked about this, yeah, right? Left and the right. So the next thing we got to talk about is this area here. I showed you before where we actually add our effects. That's what we have this area for and stuff. We're not going to be talking about the send assignment side, but we're going to be more on the effects area, which is this side of the panel right here. Right here, this is what we're going to be talking about. So if I click on this, what we have here are many options for effects. That's what we have here. I have many options for effect: the amplitude and compression, delay, echo, filter, modulation, noise reduction, reverb, special, stereo imagery, and tip, time and pitch. So let's say I go on this pitch shifter here, which is what we're quite common with. The effect automatically here shows up here, and let me play audio and see if it's been affected. All right, so it's clearly doesn't make any difference from how it was before. So I'm going to come down here and boost the pitch up a bit. So come here, just move up or down. So say, so move it this way, and I'll play it again, and let's see how it sounds this time. All right, so it's clear now that the effect that we applied here from our mixer panel here has been affected over here on audio one, or the main track as we have named it down there. So for peradventure, I do not want this effect to be on the audio. I can come here and click this. Once I click this, the effect goes off, and I can click back on it to apply it. So if I click here, so as you can see, it plays back to normal. If I click on it again, all right, it reapplies. So something else is that we can actually still add up more than one effect. So if I still go back up here and then maybe add my let's say reverb and studio reverb. Oh, okay. All right, so my studio reverb shows up over here. As you can see, my studio, this is my studio reverb, and okay, so our studio reverb is over here, and let's go ahead, let me play it. This is the editing side of the effect we added there. So let's go ahead and play. All right, this means that I'll just take off our pitch shifter here, click on it here, and by the way, it's okay, this is a different effect here, analog. Multiple I can add in multiple um effect on it, and they all just stack up here. And the way I actually get them to, like, do I get the editing interface for it is by clicking on it. So if I click on this is Flangaya, if I click on it, this shows up for it, and then this shows up for it. So for every effect that I have, once I click on them, they show up here, and I can work with them from there. So if I go ahead now and play for this, all right, okay, you can see how I can tweak my audio from there. All right, okay, so the audio stopped playing. So I can add as many effects as I want on this timeline, and also I can do that on these other audio tracks that we have over here. So let me go over here and click on this so we can hide that side uh of the mixer. I'll come down here, double click here, and come down here. Let me drag this down. Okay, bit cool. Click here, right click, and add track. Okay, what I'm actually trying to do here is to add a track, but okay, okay. So if I come down here, I'll come down here. By the way, it's coming down here. This is what I'm trying to add here. That's the submix track. But I'll go over here down to where I have the tracks, the existing tracks here. And I'll right click and add audio submix track. So let me play that. Okay, so I'll drag this down, and here we have it. We have the submix track, and that is automatically added to this side also. That's to the mixer. So what the submix track actually functions as is more or less like an adjustment layer. If we've worked with After Effects before, or even here in Premiere Pro, the submix actually functions just like an adjustment layer is, which is more like it takes up the effects that is supposed to be added to a particular layer, to a particular video or audio, whichever one it is, maybe even images. It takes up those effects on itself, and you do not directly have to apply them to the clips, but you apply them to the adjustments layer, but somehow they affect the clip themselves. So basically it takes up the effect so that you don't have to like mess up your clips or your audios or your videos. That's how the adjustment layer works. So the same thing here happens with your submix. So I can apply an audio to audio, I can apply an effect to audio one, which is the main track here, without having to directly apply to it. So let's say for instance I do this. Let's say for instance okay, so I'll come over here to where I have my effect on the audios right here, and I'll maybe just nullify this effect. Let me just turn this effect off. I'll come down here and I'll say none, none, and here none. I'm just turning off the effects that I have on this particular audio track. That's our main audio. I'll turn those effects off, and I'll come over here. I'll just trail this. This is okay. uh okay, let me just go ahead. I think I've deleted it somehow, so let me just re-add it. Okay, these are audio mix, a submix rather. I'll track it here and add an effect on that layer or on that particular track right here, and maybe to tune it down a bit. Okay, cool. So let me go ahead now and play. I'll go ahead now and play my the audio. Okay, clearly nothing happened to the audio. Clearly nothing happened to the audio. And in as much as we added this pitch shifter effect on the audio, nothing happened to the audio and stuff. So, but in order for us to get it to be affected or to be active, we ought to assign it to the particular audio that we want it to affect. For instance, I'll go down to our main track here. Yeah, that's where we have the track. But anyways, so I'll come up here where we have mix here, and you see a submix one actually shows up here, which means that we can actually have more than one submix. So I'll come here and select our submix. Now this submix is now assigned to our audio one. In other words, whatever effect that we apply here on our submix would actually translate into our audio one, which is our main track. So I'll go ahead now and play it. Okay, so as you can see, the submix now, the effect we actually added on the submix has now been applied right there on our main track. So one thing we could actually do is create a multiple submix. We can actually create multiple submix, not just one. So if I come down here and I come down to not there, sorry. Okay, I come down to add audio submix. So now we have other submix down here. So we have the submix one and submix two. Let me expand this so that we can see it clearer. Okay, so we have the submix one and the submix two right here, and we have a submix the effect is actually on this one here. So that's one way that we can actually add an effect to an audio effect to audios without having to apply it directly to it. So if peradventure I have other audios, for instance, I'll just go up here. Let me go back to my editing here. Go back to the editing and grabbing another audio. Double click, grabbing another audio. Let's say I think I should have a couple of them somewhere. All right, motivational background music. Okay, just have that. Okay, so let's say I'll drag in this other one, motivational, into our audio to just the audio. So just unlink the video and delete it. So I have just the audio. Let's say trim this down a bit. Drag this over here. So now we have two audios playing. Yeah, clearly. Okay, we could delete, so we have it playing from the beginning. Yeah, so right now I'll let's mute this one and see how the audio effect is being added to the other one. So okay, so okay, yeah, it's muted. So I'll just come to the second audio and find my mix and also apply the same effect that we applied here, which is submix 2, and I'll play that. Okay, all right, so let me take it off so see how it sounds without the effect. Okay, this is how it sounds. Okay, that's the sound without the effect. So if I come down here and I add it, add the submix to effect. All right, so you notice the difference. So what I was trying to explain the other time about the adjustment layer and the submix is that we can actually add multiple effects on our audio tracks without having to apply the effect directly to them. So I could put in all the effects that I have on my submix. I could apply all the effects that I have here onto all these tracks without having to come over here to start applying them one after the other. I could just do that on one layer here, which is the submix layer or the adjustment layer. In the case of video, we are yet to get to that, but I can just apply them here and they automatically apply down at the submix area. All right, so one last thing I would like to show you guys is how we add tracks to our audios. Is how we add tracks to timeline basically. Okay, since we are going to be since we're dealing on the since you're dealing on the audio, so we're going to be working on that basically. So let me just move this here. I'll move the video up down here so we can see just the so we can see just the audio. So if you look over here, you find that we have just three audio tracks, which is the A1, A2, A1, A2, A1, A2. So so I'll just come down here. Just give me a sec, please. Okay. So we have our A1, A2, A3, and the mixer. So just right click over here and let's say we want to delete a track, so just come down here and okay, that's actually how we want to delete and stuff like that. So okay, so let's just delete the submix one track, say okay to that, and perhaps both. Let's just do it for both of them. All right, so taking out the I'll take out this one too. Yeah, so come down here and let's say delete track. All right, so deleted that. So now we have the audios 1, 2, 3 and then the mix track, but what we actually want to do is to add a track. So what I'll do is I'll right click here and then add track. And now, as you can see, we have another track which is the A4 added. So a track A5 added, and we can do that continuously. So if I come down here, right click and say add tracks, on the other hand, we have the video tracks here, which is one, and that's the number of track that we may want to add to the already existing ones. Here we have for the audio tracks, and here we have for the audio sub mix tracks. So I'll just come here and then put in a number, perhaps a small number, 2 or 3. Let's say 3, and say OK. So that gives us or adds 3 more tracks to what we had initially. All right, guys. Hope that helps. Next time we're going to be talking about the videos, and I hope this works for you. Thank you, guys.